I'm honestly at a complete loss of words about this episode. It was pure awesome. No matter what anybody says, after this entire season and especially after this episode, Sword Art Online deserves some respect. First season weren't that good, but Alicization and now War of the Underworld, and especially part 2 that we currently have right now. And now this episode just shows what SAO is capable of. The animation, smooth and very vibrant colors, and the way it looks, the fluidity. Amazing. Now, with this episode, is Kirito's comeback episode, so to say. Last week everybody was trying to heal him, get him back. They went through a bunch of trouble, hardships. And now, this episode is the payoff, but the way they gave us this payoff was just amazing. As the episode starts with a bit of a flashback, or in this way for Kirito. Just seeing how it all started, so to say, for him. How many people he lost, the people he's killed, and so on. You can see him piling up through everything he's been, his key moments. Saving Asuna, meeting her, losing a bunch of people, meeting his friends, and so on. Just takes you back. Nostalgia tree, but also makes you a bit sad seeing through how many things he's passed, how many people he's lost, what he had to do to survive, to get here. Just amazing. The way they paced the episode was especially very well done. Now, in Underworld, where Kirito is having his flashbacks, it actually made me quite a bit sad, honestly, seeing through how much stuff he's been through. Paul is again trying to bring Kirito back to wake him up by doing everything he can in his power, killing people left and right, being an asshole, so to say, honestly, because this is Paul, let's be honest. And Asuna's barely able to stand up, but she gets her second wind, keep that in mind. Having a moment from Yuki. If you guys remember, she was the sick girl who was kept alive in one of the nano nerve machine, or what the name was, nerve gear machines, my bad. And she was probably the best player, honestly, because she was connected through the game much more closer than everybody else, and she formed a connection with Asuna. Now you see her being like Asuna's support, so to say. Gets her back on her feet, and she starts fighting with Paul. But she's not able to defeat him because this guy has the best cleaver suddenly. Apparently, it worked the same way back in Aincard, the first season, where he would the weapon would get better by killing people and get weaker by killing normal mobs and monsters. And now that he's here on this battlefield where a bunch of people had died on every side, Chinese people, Korean people, Japanese people, American people. There's just a bunch of life energy in there from all the bodies. This weapon is just becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. And Asuna can't really defeat him thanks to this weapon. Now, Kirito's also going through his own war inside him, so to say. Now, he goes trying to use his sister, Sion, and Asuna to get him back. You see him appear. You should see them appearing in Kirito's mind while he was having a breakdown, like a complete breakdown. And the way they portrayed that was very well done. Like I said, seeing everybody he's lost, everybody he's killed, he just piled on, and he couldn't take it anymore. He actually started ripping out his own heart. That was a very serious moment, so to say. You see him just not being able to take it anymore. And now, the thing that saves him from completely going through with ripping his heart, and even acknowledged by Higa back in the real world, you see an outside object from inside the Underworld connected through to Kirito. Even Higa said we needed one more extra person, and that extra person in this case was Yu-Gi-Oh, who It's the same thing as Yuki is to Asuna, Yu-Gi-Oh is to Kirito. The connection they had through what they've been through and what each others mean to each other. But of course, well, no, Yu-Gi-Oh is dead, but his memory and a piece of fragment that is in the sword make Yu-Gi-Oh make an appearance, so to say. And you see all four of them being there and saving Kirito from trying to rip out his own heart and bring him back. Now, that was a very touching moment. It also makes you put the question, so to say. How important connections are with the people you form. Because he came back, because of the connections he had with everybody around him, especially these four in this case. Because he left an impression on them and they left an impression on him. And this just shows how much key people around you matter. Like, maybe I'm looking into it too much, but this is how I feel about it. Just keep the important people around you and they'll keep you around them. So, back in Asuna vs Paul, we found out that Paul doesn't hate Kirito. He actually admires him. Even though he went about it the wrong way to show that admiration, just doing so many stupid stuff to him, putting him through so many hardships, so to say. But he still admires him and kind of considers him his North Star, so to say. Because everybody around him was an asshole according to Paul, but Kirito was the one constant thing that had hope in. But like I said, Paul, you went in every possible wrong direction except the good one about showing your admiration and your how you view Kirito, so to say. Now they're trying to fight again, Asuna and Paul, and this time we see Asuna getting another her second wind, so to say, again from Yuki, and she starts growing wings and getting strong. Like, actually, I think she kind of reverted back to her original form, so to say, when she was the lightning fast, or what was her nickname? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. And she completely obliterates Paul, like puts a hole in his chest, just completely destroys him. Now, I like that Asuna took the scene, so to say, the way she fought. And don't even get me started on the animation. I actually got goosebumps how good it looked. I don't know how they're doing it, but please keep up the animation, and other studios gotta learn from this, especially on the fight scenes. I think SAO has the best animation this season. Nothing even comes close. Maybe Fire Force, but still SAO is the best when it comes to fight scenes this season. I think it's gonna keep getting better and better, especially when you get close to the climax fight. Now, like I said, Asuna completely obliterates Paul, puts a hole in his chest, like a big hole, but he still survives, and I think it's mostly due to his weapon, honestly, because of how much power it absorbed, and he's still influencing everybody around him, like the Chinese, Korean players. They're still getting influenced by his evil aura or whatever that magic was, and nobody can really stop him. And his plan was just to kill everything and anything in the Underworld until he makes Kirito come back. Now, it's a stupid way about going about it, so to say, because he's just misguided in his admiration. I don't know, like I said, I think he's actually insane, honestly. Maybe in a different world they could actually be friends if he wasn't this crazy. You never know, Po and Kirito being friends, but hey, Po is the way he is, honestly. And he just goes way overboard with everything he's trying to do. Now, Kirito finally manages to accept everything, getting over his survivor's guilt, so to say, because he has plenty of it, especially with Yu-Gi-Oh! You see him, I was supposed to be the one that died, in his own words, and that's survivor's guilt, honestly. But he gets over it or accepts the fact of what happened, and he finally comes back. And the way they portrayed his resurrection, so to say, just like a god waking up, honestly, because if you remember, he still had one arm missing from his fight with the administrator, but he makes a force field in the shape of a hand, protecting Asuna and himself from Paul's attack, blocking Paul's very, very strong cleaver, like the best cleaver in the world, and he blocks it. Now, he also freezes everything around him, like literally everything, besides the good guy, so to say. The red soldiers get frozen, Paul gets frozen, but he gets out, of course. And I don't know how he did it, but he grows an arm back. I like the moment, but I'm curious how he did it. Hopefully they're gonna explain that. I have no issues with it, okay, granted, it's Kirito being Kirito, overpowered character. For me at least, I love overpowered characters, I have no issues with them, especially in this kind of series. Overpowered characters are my guilty pleasures, and SAO is no exception to that, especially this season. But I don't know how the director or the whoever designed this episode, so to say, the way they filmed every scene was just amazing. The emotions and everything. Now, next episode is gonna be Kirito versus Paul, I'm gonna assume, the way they left it off. I'm curious how it's gonna happen. Is he gonna get completely obliterated? Is he gonna get away? But let's stick to this episode, and we'll see about next week's episode. Now, overall, awesome episode, a lot of emotion. The fights in Asuna versus Paul, very, very well done. The choreography, the animation, and don't let me forget the soundtrack. Just put you in the mood, the immersion that helps quite a lot with SAO. I think it has everything in this season. Might be one of the best anime this year, probably, if I'm being honest. SAO deserves some respect. I can't stress this enough. Granted, season 1, season 2, and so on weren't very good, so to say. But with this season, War of the Underworld, especially part 2, they just brought it up to a whole new level. Like, it's, don't get me wrong, it's not the holy grail of anime and something like that, but it's still awesome and very well worth your time, and you should definitely check it out. Just at least give it a chance. You can skip the previous seasons, just watch Alicization and War of the Underworld. You'll not regret it. Now, I'm glad he's back, and the way he came back was very, very well done, especially the mechanic of how he was brought back, with the connection between him and his closest friends. And I gotta say, this episode's awesome. I know I'm repeating myself, but like I said, I'm at a lack of words to how exactly describe this episode, except just a nostalgia trip with an awesome payout, honestly. And I'm very excited about next week's fight scene between him and Paul. And keep it up, SAO. What can I say? You're doing an awesome job this season. So let me know what you guys thought about it. I'm actually very curious, and please give SAO a chance, especially this season. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye bye.